With their unique, honeycomb-shaped appearance and deep, earthy taste, morels have quickly become a favorite among chefs and gourmets. But apart from the fact that they enhance the taste and aroma of dishes, morels also bring a number of health benefits to the table. Studies show that they strengthen immune function, kill harmful pathogens, support liver health, and much more. So where can you find these edible mushrooms, and how can you include them in your diet? Let's take a closer look at why you should look for these tasty treats on your next mushroom hunt. Morels, also known as Morchella or real morels, are a valued variety of edible mushrooms that are popular for their rarity and rich taste. Unlike many other types of fungi, morels are not bred, but collected. They can be harvested in certain areas of North America, India, Pakistan, Turkey, and China. Morchella is actually a genus that includes about 70 different types of morels, each of which has tiny variations in taste and appearance. In general, morels have a pronounced earthy taste that works well in pasta, soups, and meat dishes. They can also be sautéed in a little butter and served with a little salt and pepper as a simple side dish. What do morel mushrooms look like? The appearance of the morel fungus can vary greatly between the different species. The colors can range from gray to yellow to brown, and they can be between 1 and 5 centimeters in size. However, one thing that all morels have in common is their unique, honeycomb-like appearance, which is caused by the burrs and pits that cover the hat. It is important not to confuse these fungi with the wrong morels, which look similar but contain a type of poison known as gerometrin, and can cause serious side effects when consumed in large quantities. False morels typically have wrinkles and brain-like wrinkles on their hat, which differ from the honeycomb-shaped appearance of the morels. Some species also contain a cotton-like substance inside the stem, while real morels are hollow in the middle. Morels are considered a true delicacy among gourmet chefs and mushroom connoisseurs. Because of their rich, nutty taste and their delicate, fleshy texture, they are even enjoyed by many who do not like normal mushrooms. The price of morels is relatively high, as they are usually not bred, but grow in the great outdoors. It is unlikely that you will find morels in your supermarket. In addition, they are difficult to cultivate, and very perishable, which is why you will find them dried rather than fresh at most retailers. Are morels good for you? Health benefits of morels. Morels are rich in antioxidants. Antioxidants are strong compounds that help to combat damage caused by free radicals and protect cells from oxidative stress. Some research even shows that the benefits of antioxidants go beyond the cellular level and report that increased absorption of antioxidants could also help prevent chronic diseases, such as heart disease and cancer. In vitro research results published in the journal Pharmaceutical Biology show that morels are rich in antioxidants that can help intercept free radicals and prevent lipid peroxidation. According to the study, the results indicate the potential therapeutic use of morel fungus, Morchella esculenta mycelia, as an efficient antioxidant. The morel has antimicrobial properties. Interestingly, several promising in vitro studies show that morel fungi can help protect themselves from harmful pathogens in order to fight infections caused by bacteria and yeast. For example, a study from India in 2017 showed that certain compounds found in morel fungi effectively block the growth of Escherichia coli, a type of bacteria that can cause intestinal problems. These compounds were also able to reduce the activity of Aspergillus fumigatus, a fungal species known to infect people with weakened immune systems. Morels can promote liver health. Thanks to its strong antioxidant properties, studies show that morels could protect and maintain the health of the liver. In fact, an animal study conducted by the Amla Cancer Research Center in Kerala, India, has shown that the administration of morel fungus extract has hepatoprotective activities and reduces several markers used to measure liver disease. The morel strengthens the immune function. Although more studies in humans are required, preliminary research suggests that certain compounds found in morels could boost immune function and alleviate inflammation in the body. For example, an in vitro study in the journal Food and Chemical Toxicology showed that a polysaccharide extract of the morel fungus was able to improve the activity and anti-inflammatory properties of immune cells. Another study had similar results and showed that polysaccharides found in the fungi could act in vitro as immunomodulatory agents. Morels could help fight cancer cells. In addition to strengthening immunity and providing a strong dose of anti-disease antioxidants, morels could also have a strong influence on cancer development. An in vitro study in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences has found that compounds extracted from morels inhibit the growth and spread of colon cancer cells in a dose-dependent manner. However, please note that further studies are required to determine whether the consumption of morels can have the same anti-cancer properties in humans. How to hunt morel mushrooms. Unlike other types of fungi, it is unlikely that you will find cultivation kits for morels or instructions for growing morels in the house on the internet. In addition to the fact that it is very difficult to breed them indoors, it is also difficult to commercially replicate the conditions necessary for growth. Coupled with the high price and limited availability, many opt for morel mushroom hunting to get this delicious delicacy. So, where do morel mushrooms grow? Morel fungi typically grow in humid but well-permeable areas and can be discovered near trees, including certain species such as ash, elm, hickory, and plane tree. Certain morels also tend to grow in areas recently affected by forest fires, and can be found on the outer edges of the burned areas. One of the most important tips for morel hunting is to note that morels often grow together. If you find one or two in a certain place, it is much more likely that you will find even more morels nearby that grow in groups. The season for morels begins in spring and, depending on the location, they usually appear between April and May. Another common question is, in which states do morels grow? Normally, morels can be found throughout North America, but they are a little more common in the Midwest. Some websites also offer a morel mushroom map that tracks sightings of this rare mushroom to find out where morels can grow near you. How to use morels. So if you have figured out how to find morels, you may be wondering what to do with morels after collecting them. Because of their hollow interior, fresh morels are very fragile and can only be kept for up to a week if stored properly. It can't be difficult to find out how to clean morels, especially because they tend to spoil much faster after washing. In general, most people recommend using a soft brush to remove dirt from the outside before briefly rinsing it with cold water and dabbing dry. When it comes to how to store morels, they should be placed in the refrigerator and stored loosely with sufficient ventilation to maximize shelf life. Alternatively, there are also many ways to dry morels in a dehydrator or in the oven, which can extend their shelf life exponentially. If you are trying these mushrooms for the first time, you may be wondering, can you eat morels raw? Cooking morels is absolutely necessary before consumption, as morels contain small amounts of toxins that are destroyed by cooking. Eating morels raw could have a negative impact on health, especially if you consume large amounts over a longer period of time. Fortunately, there are many simple methods for preparing morels and enjoying them in your favorite dishes. They are often cooked with a little butter and spices, as well as a splash of cream or wine. Or you can try to add them to noodles, pan dishes, pizzas, and soups to add an extra taste boost to your favorite dishes. Risks and side effects. Are all the morel mushrooms safe to eat? And can morel mushrooms make you sick? If prepared properly, morels can be a safe and healthy supplement to a balanced diet. However, please note that the mushrooms should be properly cleaned and always cooked before consumption. Raw morels contain a type of toxin that is destroyed during cooking. If you hunt and harvest your own mushrooms, it is also important to make sure that you get morel mushrooms and not false morels. Although the two are similar in appearance, there are some differences in head, stem, and color that can't help you distinguish between the two. What happens if you eat a fake morel? False morels contain gerometrin, a dangerous compound that is hydrolyzed into the toxin known as monomethylhydrazine, MMH, which can cause symptoms such as headaches, weakness, vomiting, and stomach pain. Those who have an allergy to fungi should also avoid morels and other types of edible mushrooms. If you experience symptoms of a food allergy such as stomach upset, hives or itching, stop eating and talk to your doctor. Final considerations. Morels are a type of edible mushrooms that occur all over the world and are typically not bred, but collected. Although the appearance can vary depending on the species, they are known for their honeycomb-shaped head and hollow interior. There are some clear differences between these mushrooms and false morels, which are a type of mushroom that can actually be dangerous if consumed. Are morel mushrooms good for you? In addition to their high content of antioxidants, in vitro studies and animal models suggest that morels could help fight harmful pathogens, strengthen immune function, promote liver health, and reduce the growth of cancer cells. Since growing morels can be very difficult, many choose to collect the mushrooms instead. There are many online resources and maps where you can find morels, but they can often be found in humid, well-drained areas at the base of certain tree species. Although they are harmless to most people, morels should be cooked before consumption and avoided by people with a fungal allergy to avoid negative effects on health. Morels can be found mainly in floodplain forests, at the foot of old ash trees. The morels can also be found in gardens, on orchards, on forest edges, or in parks. Edible morels also occur on bark mulch. The morels usually appear in the period from April to June. The morel indicators include ash, primroses, wild garlic, wild anemones, silk beast, plague root, and dandruff root. The morel forms fruit bodies up to 20 centimeters high and up to 10 centimeters wide. As with all types of morel, the morel is divided into headboard and stem. Characteristic is that the morel is completely hollow both in the stem area and on the headboard. The headboard is very variable and can be golden yellow, light brown, gray yellowish, or white yellowish. The headboard of the morel also has a typical honeycomb-like structure and is never brain-like wound. The habitus of the morel is also relatively variable. It can be relatively thin and pointed, but also thick and roundish. The spore powder is cream-white colored. The stem of the morels is whitish. On the outside, the handle can be slightly fine-grained. Inside, the stem is smooth. The meat of the morel is light yellowish to white yellowish. As with all types of morel, verpel, and lorkel, the meat is brittle and strongly reminiscent of wax in terms of consistency. The morel has an extremely pleasant spicy fungal smell. The taste sample is mild with the edible morel, but should be avoided due to the toxicity in the raw state. The Morchella syndrome. Some people can't tolerate morels at all. There are balance problems, dizziness, movement disorders, and drunkenness after consumption. Morchella syndrome can actually feel like an alcohol intoxication. If you get the symptoms described after eating morels, then it is better to refrain from eating morels in the future. Morels as a medicinal mushroom. The morel is considered a medicinal mushroom in traditional Chinese medicine. Scientific research has shown that edible morels contain ingredients, antioxidants, that can counteract tumor formation and strengthen the immune system. The morel should also help against indigestion. Types of morels. The more or less yellowish colored morels are a large species complex with many different varieties, which can hardly be separated from each other by their optical characteristics. There are many almost identical looking varieties here that have adapted to a wide variety of environmental conditions. Some morels appear only in combination with ash and sometimes form very stately fruit bodies. Other varieties are much more delicate, and can even appear on bark mulch, or wood waste, or fruit trees. A really safe determination of the respective variety is often only possible via sequencing, which is why we summarize the yellowish-colored edible morels all under Morchella esculenta. An exception here is currently only the thick-footed morel. Morchella crassipes. The different varieties have no influence on edibility. All edible morels are edible mushrooms. The food value of the different morel varieties varies only slightly. Overall, it can be summarized in all morels that the wildly grown morels, for example, B. in the floodplain forest near ash trees or fruit trees on an orchard, have a finer taste than species that appear on wood waste or on bark mulch.